Stacey, I'm so glad that you came back. It was great to see you again, and I'm so glad that things sound like they're going pretty good at home with Mom, and school's been okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad.
Okay, cool. Well, I was wondering if you'd be willing to talk with me a little bit about some of the questions that we ended last session with. And again, it was so helpful for me getting to know you and you kind of being honest about drinking and the party that you went to and sharing that information with me. And so I wanted to share with you a little bit about kind of some of the information that goes in your chart so that you have a strong understanding of, what goes on in your chart.
What kind of chart are you talking about?
So I want to show you a screening form. Okay? You willing to take a look at it?
Okay.
Okay. So check it out. It's called the Craft, and it's a screening tool that we use. And a lot of the questions that I asked you last time were the questions that are on this screening form. But this form is a way for us to kind of track your progress, how well you're doing, maybe come up with some areas that you may want to talk about more, that sort of thing. And I wanted to be sure that you kind of knew what we were documenting and what we were writing down.
Well, who's gonna see it?
So this is between us, like we talked about with your mom. And remember your mom and I spoke, and she was willing to waive her rights for confidentiality, and she agreed that the things that we talk about in here can stay between us unless we think that it's dangerous or something harmful could come about of it, and then I would need to share that information. You remember we had that?
So if I answer these questions, you're not gonna tell her?
Right, and we'd also talked about, if I did need to talk to her about it, I'd let you know first, that I'd share with you what it is that I needed to talk to her about. So those rules that we set up still apply here. You want to take a look at it and see?
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
So this is kind of how it goes. This first part, right? And I'll ask you, during the past 12 months, did you drink any alcohol more than just a few sips?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to put a yes there. And smoke any weed?
Sometimes.
Okay. And did you use anything else to get high?
Like what? No, just weed.
Just weed?
Yeah.
Well, like stuff that like other kids use to get high. Can you think of anything?
No.
No other drugs or stuff like that?
No.
So really only your friends are only using marijuana and alcohol? No one else uses anything like
Well, I know kids in my school that do other stuff, but I don't.
Okay, gotcha. So that's a no. Okay. So this part is kind of why the craft gets its name. So it's an acronym. Do you know what an acronym means?
No.
So an acronym is kind of a word that stands for something else. And so craft, the C is the word in the first question, car. And do you remember last time I asked you how you got home from the party?
Yeah.
So we were concerned about your safety, right?
Yeah.
Did you get in the car? And your answer was?
No.
Right. So this question is, have you ever ridden in a car driven by someone, including yourself, who was high or using drugs?
Like not drinking in the car, but had been drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, but only like a couple of times.
A couple of times. Okay, cool. And have you ever used alcohol or drugs to relax?
Yeah.
How about feel better? Kind of feel better about yourself?
Fit in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And have you ever used alcohol or drugs while you were alone?
No.
No. Okay. And do you ever forget things you did when you were drinking? Did you ever have that experience?
Probably.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Did you ever have one of those nights where your friends kind of had to tell you, do you remember you did this? And then you were like,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Got it. Okay. And do your family or friends ever tell you that you need to cut back or that you're drinking too much?
No. I mean, my family doesn't really know.
Okay.
And my friends drink more than I do, so.
Okay.
No, they're not telling me that.
Okay. And have you ever gotten into trouble while you're drinking?
No, thank God.
No. Okay, cool. All right. So thanks so much for doing this with me, and I just wanted you to be aware of kind of what's going on and kind of what we're documenting in your chart. And this is also a tool for us to kind of help talk about these things so that we can, you know, make sure that you have a space where you feel comfortable to talk about maybe any problem areas.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sure.
So I know you stayed sober and didn't use any alcohol since the last time we spoke. So I'm thinking that it might be a good idea for us to check back in instead of 1 week, 2 weeks. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it makes me, sometimes I like talking though. Like
Okay.
sometimes when stuff is kind of rough at home or school, it's helpful to talk it out with you.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because I like talking with you too. It's kind of cool to be able to talk in this way, you know. Maybe what we could do is we'll set up that appointment for 2 weeks, and if things get rough at home or you feel like drinking or anything else that comes up, why don't you just give me a call and we can set up a time and we'll get you in and we can chat. Would that work for you?
Yeah.
So you know that you can come here, but I think that setting it up for 2 weeks, unless you need to come in, we'd be all set.
Okay.
All right, cool. So let's go ahead and let's set your appointment up. I'll see you in 2.
All right.
Okay, thanks.